Working on a 2001 Volvo V70. Do shocks, brakes. I'm pulling the third row out here to get access to the shocks. I'm also going to do wheel bearings. So got that removed. I'm go ahead and try and impact it off first. Didn't work. I had to use I think it was a Torx bit and a wrench to get those top shock nuts off. Now I'm just busting the wheel off here real quick. I had to use persuader to get the wheel off. And got to remove our caliper here. That long handled flex head was kind of nice. Got it from Harbor Freight. Totally worth it. And then I had some issues getting my rotor off. The wheel bearing cap was bent there, so that was kind of a pain. Took a little persuading, got it off though. And these wheel bearing bolts, or one of them's kind of a pain. I had to use a wrench, but I lifted the suspension up to get to it. Made it a little bit easier anyways. So here I almost got the rotor off. There we go. Pull the Z-brake pads off. Well, there wasn't any pads. Pull those guys off. Kind of a pain, those little spring clips. So you can see I got the suspension jacked up to get to that bottom bolt. Now I'm putting the wheel bearings back in here. I'm going to do the e-brake stuff first. Those little spring clips, I was just trying them out and see how they fit in the hole. They're horrible. Had them backwards, had to flip them around there. The little spring goes on the spacer side, and the other spring goes on the e-brake side. And for the wheel bearing, I had to there's a little cap you're supposed to take off. I didn't take that off. It looks like it's part of the wheel bearing, so the wheel locked up, but I got it figured out. We're gonna release the parking brake cable. Pop this guy out. And cover up there. I believe it's a 10 millimeter. So what I'm gonna do is loosen it to get the rotor on, the new rotor. I'll have to readjust it. And we'll use the same thing to adjust it. See if that's far enough. Yeah, close. So I got it on there. The wheel was locking up when I tried to spin it, and I looked at my other wheel bearing, and sure enough, there's a little cap. You have to pry it off to get it off there. I didn't know if it was part of the wheel bearing or what. So got all that on. Now I'm activating the shock. I guess you're supposed to do this. I just went ahead and did it. That's what was recommended. So. And just had to go to the top after this, button her up, and then put the interior back in. Sorry about my mess of amp wires.